Hello, non-Patreon listeners. Thank you for tuning in. Well, I mean, there are Patreon listeners who are getting this earlier, but I don't really need to market to you because you're Patreon viewers, so I've got your money. It means nothing to me. Oh, yes, sorry. So, look, we're in Bulgaria. We've had the time of our life on our Romanian Transylvania, even though Transylvania is part of Romania, but it's like a complicated thing that nobody really explained it to me, and I'm not sure what it means. And our Bulgarian tour, it's all been great. We finalised it here. We also have... We're in Varna. We have a park for the first time. Well, not for the first time. 40 minutes into the podcast, I shouldn't have told them the time. Now they can skip to it. We should have just said it any time.
At some point.
I've already said it.
I think you got it wrong.
Oh, good, because we did overrun. At some point in the podcast, there's a discount code for a really special thing, and that special thing is special. And it's not just me graphically explaining to you how I am better at comedy than Joe Rogan is in every single way. But God, I would love that to be special.
Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and Cream, Cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
And that's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh. They said it can't be done.
Is this the Patreon or a public?
This is public.
Okay, I'm going to start with something that I will acknowledge I think should be cut out.
Okay.
And we probably will cut it out. I watched Scarface for the first time in my 32 years on this planet yesterday. I really enjoyed it.
I'm struggling to see why this is cut out worthy yet. I'm going to try and figure it out.
They're very racist in it because it's...
the Pacino accent.
Pacino's accent is an incredibly racist accent, but even the terms that they use to describe each other. Now,
it's a bit like on Short Circuit where they have the white guy being a brown guy. And he's like, I feel like a sweaty duck.
I don't know that reference.
Do you not?
No.
He's like got a really thick Indian accent. He's meant to be Indian, but it's like a browned up white guy. And he's like, the one line I remember was him saying, I feel like a sweaty duck. I don't know what accent I'm trying to do.
Somebody browned up.
In a Spielberg children's film, aye.
No way.
Aye.
No way.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
And then did the... So
can you not remember Short Circuit? Did you watch it?
No, I'd never seen it, but so wait, hold on.
Like, it didn't even look...
Somebody apooed in real life and not cartoon.
Yeah, aye.
That's awful. That's not on.
But they did in Scarface?
No. So, well, yes. I mean, obviously, fucking Al Pacino is not Cuban. He's got this terrible fucking Cuban accent. And they're using so many slurs during the thing to refer to the Colombians and the Brazilians.
Are you going to cut it out because you like racial words to Spanish people?
No.
Are you going to like double down on your racism and be like, I love calling them wetbacks? Is that what you're doing?
Don't get me wrong. It's close to that. It's okay. I can't lie to you and say it's not close to your figures.
The fucking Latino markets, there we go. We want to get to South America.
It doesn't come... I promise you, I know I'm racist to the Spanish. I promise you what I'm about to say doesn't come from a place of hate. I promise you it only comes from a place of immaturity, ignorance and silliness. That doesn't forgive what my brain did. But you know, when your brain does something that you don't... Intrusive thoughts, man. You're not in charge of your thoughts.
Aye, but if that intrusive thought makes you smile... If the side of your cheek just lifted a little bit and you were like, you had a little sparkle in your eye, oh, the intrusive thought got through, Daniel. That's actioned.
Yes. Fucking 10 points to Gryffindor. That's my exact problem. So, in the movie Scarface, at some point somebody uses the slur, you greasy wop.
Oh,
right?
Nice. I just actioned that. Right. I want to call that like...
And that was like, man, that was racism before my time racism. Like, I obviously, as a fucking white man who lives in Scotland, has never truly heard even the term greasy wop.
But it doesn't make it makes us want to use it against like someone like like Gareth or something. The person that's not about.
Because you're so far removed from it.
Yeah.
Because that's racism.
Like, I wouldn't call him that late.
I mean, Cullen would. So, they used the term greasy wop. I was angry at myself for laughing at that term so much. And then my brain started... It created this song. Do you remember the milkshake yop in the UK?
Barely.
Do you remember?
Was it in like a glass bottle? Was it like one of them like Yakult ones?
It was no. It was a
probiotics.
No. It was a kid. It was for kids.
Okay, right.
And the advert was, and their mouths would get really big. I remember this. The whole advert was these teenagers and these kids before they drink it. The whole concept of the advert was their parents would come in and be like, "What do you want?" And the kids would sing with extended mouths, "Give me yop, me mama, yop, me mama,
yeah.
yop, for when the morning comes."
And your intrusive thought that you sang with your mouth.
Greasy wop, me mama.
Me mama.
Wop, me mama. And I was...
there you go. How can I not do it, but you can?
I can't do it. The point is,
you just take it to the... I evened it out.
Sometimes I'm so glad this podcast isn't successful.
No, this is why it's not. No one's getting behind it.
No, but like so we're in Bulgaria at the moment. We've done 3 days in Romania. So we started off in Timișoara. If you've listened to our Patreon, you know we were in Timișoara.
You're gonna talk about how like, you were like, oh, we'll come back every year after this, like every single tour we do, obviously, unless we get cancelled. And you'll be like, you'll still be fine here.
Like it was it's yes. So I'm obviously if anyone that's listened to this podcast or seen my show, my most recent one, you know the whole thing is about me, about the concept of fucking cancel culture in the UK and America. And if anything I think has added weight to my argument that cancel culture doesn't really actually exist for comedians, is the fact that I promise you, I could say the N-word on stage and like really, and go beyond what Alfie Brown did and just attack black people using the N-word. I guarantee I could do fucking anti-Semitic jokes to the nth degree.
Don't say like you want to. Don't say nth degree. Leave something to the imagination there, don't I?
To the nth degree. I could do that, and I believe there would absolutely be rightful consequences in the UK and America.
Bulgarians will still take you in. Like.
I'm still selling out in Europe, man. Like, even though there'd be protesters in France, there'd be more people inside the building cheering it on.
I do feel like this is the inverse of India, where like cancel culture was very real there and very like you can actually get disappeared.
Yeah, aye.
But I feel like here it's a bit more just like, he said what?
Yeah. Well, man, like literally, I don't know if anyone's, I posted it on my Instagram last night in the comedy club in Bulgaria, and it's called the Comedy Club. And we've spoken about this on the podcast before. One of our favourite things about touring around Europe and other parts of the world is sometimes you get to go to places where you meet the people who invented stand-up comedy there. Like, we'll never meet the people who invented stand-up in America because they're long dead or they're too famous that we'll just never cross paths. In the UK, if we talk about the fucking 1990s, the punk years, like I've met some of the people responsible for it, but a lot of them are fucking dead. You're never going to see the people that fucking created the scene. When we go to Estonia, because of people like Ari Mati, and when you go to Lithuania, because of people like Paulius, you get to meet people in these new parts of the world where Bulgaria has only had independence since fucking 1989. It's really fucking
brand new.
New. Fucking Estonia is similar.
Infancy.
In their infancy, and they're developing their own culture. So eventually, in every culture, stand-up does come up in some format. And to get to meet the people who...
At the inception
in
of the
these
scene.
countries is fascinating to me. Like, there's also a deep, profound jealousy within me.
That you weren't one of the pioneers?
Well, just because I believe that, you know, if there's ever a book written on the history of stand-up, you and I will only, at best, be footnotes.
Aye.
Will only ever be sort of things.
Yeah, it would
there.
be like a fucking Bill Bryson digging deep mentioning that like first places in certain territories, but it would like nobody's reading that far.
No, and it's only if you click the footnote on the Kindle and it takes it's only if you're those other people. Whereas I believe the people like Ari in Estonia, the people like Alex in Romania, the people like Ivan in Bulgaria, these people, they're the ones that went, we're going to do the first comedy club. Like, the comedy club in Bulgaria is called The Comedy Club, right? So we were there. I've said this on the podcast before. I love the comedy club in Sofia because that's where I found out I was getting my Netflix specials.
You cried.
Sobbed my fucking eyes out. I'm going to be rich.
Just get your fivers out of your pocket. Fivers at the time.
But so last night we come back to Bulgaria and we've not been back since the X tour, and it was very early on in the X tour. It's before the X tour
Just after my wedding.
Yeah, it was before the X tour was killing me and making me depressed. So that was the last time we were in Bulgaria. So we go to this comedy club called the Comedy Club in Bulgaria, and Alex, our promoter, Ivan, our promoter, is like, where do you want to go? We can go to this nightclub, we can go to this bar, and I'm like, please just take me back to the comedy club because I'm just so desperate for really self-indulgent nostalgia. To me,
Did you not pronounce the G in nostalgia?
Nostalgia?
Oh, you said nostalgia.
Did I? Like Anastasia.
Yeah, did I? Nostalgia.
Nostalgia. That's me. I've watched too much Al Pacino and Scarface. I'm being racist.
Nostalgia carbonara, please.
I got Appalachia. Do you mean alopecia? No, the mountains.
You got nostalgia in the comedy club, but they'd redecorated a little bit, so it wasn't as it wasn't as an impact.
No, just redecorated.
You had to work out the whole dynamics of the building.
So the stage had moved to the side. So I remember so vividly because it was such a.
We'll come out from behind the stage.
Yeah. No. Oh yes, we did.
I think we did.
Buddy. Sorry, you're right. We did.
I think it was that storeroom at the back.
Yes.
Right, and I think when you done this video at the Carrag, and this is the place where I cried like a baby. Mm-hmm. I think you're just in what would have been the bar.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it was more because they got there wasn't a toilet backstage, but there was a shower, and it was in the shower in which I was given the news I had 2 Netflix specials after that morning, screaming down the phone to my manager, saying the words.
You thought he was in the shower. It was all tears. He was like, look at this puddle. I must be in a shower. It's all over us.
I can't believe this whole venue is a shower. What is this? The Holocaust?
Yeah, you put the sprinklers on.
So in like that morning, I told Marlena that I didn't want to wait for Netflix to give me special because I was bored of waiting fucking 3 years. And then in this venue, I come off stage and find out.
So I was bored of waiting 3 years. Where's my Netflix special? That is what was happening.
Yeah, and I fucking stand by it. Like I'll not do it now, but I can give you the list of who else was given Netflix specials before me, and we'll be able to point out people where
they had less of a following already. So they're bringing. Is that how you saw it? Like, because you were saying that you already had an audience that you'd built across Europe from doing Conan. So so that's part of the reason bargaining.
The reason I managed to get the Netflix specials wasn't because I was better than any other comedian or I had better shows than any other comedian. Deep down, it is Netflix are building their reach, and if you can prove to them that you are doing gigs in Romania, Bulgaria, Estonia, Sweden, these new markets, if you can guarantee people from those things will come.
Yeah, like that's a fucking big sell. If you're pulling people in from like the parts of Europe to get Netflix accounts, because
why does that only say 2 minutes?
Oh, because I've just put that on. That's the backup record.
Oh god, just.
But I realised I hadn't pressed it, and I was like, you know what? Even though I've missed the beginning, it's still good to have backup.
Sorry for interrupting. I don't want us to lose any of this. Yeah, so that's the reason I got the fucking Netflix specials. It wasn't through any talent of my own. Is as always in this job, it's not a meritocracy. It's Russian roulette luck and blind devotion to an art form that might not give you anything back. We get to the comedy club. I say specifically to Van last night, I wouldn't really want to go back there. On the wall in Bulgaria, on the way down into this beautiful underground comedy club, they have the history of stand-up in Bulgaria written on the wall. And it's all written in Bulgaria. And it starts from 2012. Like, again, that's how in its fucking infancy stand-up is here. So that's when the comedy club's established. That's when they invent it and they have to teach audiences how to understand stand-up and what it is.
Train your crowd, because that's good with opening up a new place where people haven't seen stand-up.
Yeah.
Is getting them some good comics on, get them to love it and understand how it works, self-police the audience. Like,
And it must feel so rock and roll. Like, because I mean that is what punk was originally. Punk was literally fuck everything that's going on. We're gonna go to this other place that we've made just for ourselves, and we're gonna do this thing that no one else will let us fucking do.
That we'll find fun.
Just for these. That is every single place in the world where comedy it started. That's where it started from. To actually get to witness that, even if it's in, you know, a country where stand-up isn't popular, I think is a...
and what was nice about it on that little route where it stopped, the stop on the route was you visiting, like, 2016 before the Netflix specials, English-speaking comedy or whatever, and the road went on for quite some time because that was actually quite early in the development of Bulgarian comedy.
Yeah, and lots happened.
Like it was 4 years in.
And they were so desperate, again, that a way to validate your comedy scene to the people that come and see your comedy is if you can bring international comedians to your new thing. Don't you look fucking great?
I did think it was very Bulgarian to put your ex poster next to Louis C.K.'s poster. That was so Bulgarian.
And
to just not even bat an eyelid, not even see why that's...
No. Man, not even put the posters side by side. In the wall of history, it goes, on October the 9th, 2018, Daniel Sloss did a show X about rape and sexual assault in Bulgaria. And in November 2018...
For those who weren't listening... For those who didn't hear a word of what Daniel said.
Yeah. For anyone that was like, la 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 la, just for the whole show, then, and again, I'll admit, we were both devastated by how good Louis' last special was.
I was devastated because I got a chance to open for him. I don't know if I spoke with this on the pod. I got a chance.
Do you want to speak about? Oh,
yeah. I can't remember if I have. I might have. We don't hold much back. But I got asked to open for him, and I was just like, because he'd been asked in the past, didn't he, as well. And I was like, fucking, oh man, this is gutting. This. It's gutting because just rewind a couple of years back, and you're just like, fucking dream come true.
And to anyone out there who people will have their fucking stances on the Louis C.K. thing. Mine's is personally, I do think what he did was gross. I do think it was an abuse of power. I do think if he wanted that kick, he could have got it from somewhere
Weirdly
else.
Changed it for me when I found it was 2002. Weirdly, like, I'm like, oh, has he been doing it since, or was that like isolated? Is it?
Regardless of when regardless of when he's been doing it since, I think it is gross. I think it's abuse of power, and I don't think it was the worst version of those things.
It doesn't excuse it, but I feel like enough time's elapsed that he might be a completely different person.
Growth happens, and
you might have seen the error in his ways.
Okay, my rebuttal to that would be there. Yes, absolutely, people do grow and change. But what I would argue is,
since for people that haven't looked it up, we're not talking about a rapist here.
No, we're not talking about a rapist. We're talking about a man who creepy and gross,
played with himself in front of people. Like that.
I agree with you. So I don't know. I was gone. What did you say before?
So I was saying, like, about the time that's elapsed and the room for growth, and you just like,
right.
Was that a phase of his life?
No.
That he's getting punished for that phase. When
if it's growth, which I acknowledge is a fucking thing, and I think it's important as a society that when somebody does apologise and acknowledge what we did, that we do allow them to move on from that and not flog them with it for the rest of their life. Because what else is the fucking point? I think his special after what had happened to him did not show growth.
Nah.
Right? So
showed arrogance.
Showed, or and dismissiveness.
Ambivalence.
And ambivalence. And you know what? He's entitled to fucking feel that way. I didn't go through what you fucking went through. We don't know. No, but I mean, in a sense, man, we don't know the truth of what happened. Like, we know the stories, and it's and that's why we're me personally, I'm choosing to take the side of the many over the few. But
aye. Listen to the women, like.
Aye. Well, not too much because they fucking.
You nothing to say anything important there. FIFA. Louis C.K. what? I just said Louis C.K. what you said.
You had the in that moment. The man I was also asked to open for Louis while I was on the extra, and it's the same thing. You go, even though 3 years ago this would have been a beyond dream of mine. You could not open for you. You couldn't open for me doing the show X.
It's not even just. Can I just zoom out a little bit? It's not even the show X. It's what we went through with a friend. Like, that was the story of X. Like, after the experience I've had with somebody, I don't want to get close to anybody like that. That's had fucking red flags for days.
Yeah, anyone
associate about it. You feel like fucking trying to wash the stank of the guy off you. You know, afterwards you're like, he hid behind me like a decency beard.
Yeah.
And like, my decency made him look like a good guy because he's hanging around with fucking somebody that's like you could vouch for.
Okay, so
there's a part of me that's just like, I don't want to be running red flag motherfuckers. Like,
aye. Oh, no, that's good. No, man. I don't think I'd consider it that way, but that is, you know,
for a bit of money. But Danny, I would have had me praise. Fuck, I would have had me praise. Or like 10 grand.
Oh, really?
That would help me family. That.
Okay, let's get into this because, and this is going to sound.
Pay 10 grand off your mortgage, now you're paying 30 grand less over the course of it.
This is a very arrogant point of view from me, and I apologise for it. I am at a point in my life where I don't have a price.
Oh yeah, aye.
Like,
yeah. House is paid off.
House isn't paid off,
right,
but
you've got
comfortably paying the mortgage.
Because the thing is, like, it's weird how you put your price, because I just never want to downsize.
Yeah.
So I never want to have to go, I haven't really got enough money for the mortgage. We could sell this and get a smaller house and we'll easily reach it and we'll get a bit more money in the back burner. I didn't want to do that. So that, like, my thing's just like, stay there. Man. So the way I've got a price is if, like, I go, so I can maintain this for me and my family.
Yeah. So
I can maintain this for, like, guaranteed the next fucking few years is sorted.
Things could go terribly wrong for me and I'll still be in this house for the rest of my life.
Aye.
Like,
yeah.
And that's why
that makes you sad when it comes to, like, somebody who's, like, fucking actually does something reprehensible.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go for Philip Schofield. He's right there. He's not gonna, like, his quality of life's not gonna change on the.
That is the bit. Like
he's still living in a mansion.
Yeah, it's a man who's beyond the age of retirement, complaining that he doesn't get to do his job anymore.
Approaching age. I don't know how old he is, but I'd say, like, I think he's younger than me dad. And he's just approaching retirement now.
Yes, but only because of this government.
Oh, but this guy could have retired.
I'm sorry, if we're talking about the actual retirement age as opposed to what the retirement age should be.
Of course. But Philip Schofield could have retired.
Yes, but he didn't because he likes the attention. And the reason he's sad that he's losing his job isn't because he doesn't get to hang out with Holly Willoughby. Because if Holly Willoughby wants to hang out with him every day, she can. Mm-hmm. That's an option she has available to her.
I'm going to miss my workmates. Well, you know what? The workmates that you really fucking had something with, they're still around.
You can see them. It's a man complaining that he's... Though, I will say this, and I will acknowledge this. In the BBC fucking interview, Philip Schofield said that a lot of the abuse of that he was getting felt homophobic.
And that means the homophobes give him his excuse to get out of it. Like, the homophobes helped him in a way. Not like, I'm not going to say helped him. It can't be nice going through the fucking abuse that he's gone through. But fuck me, that comes with a little pass. That comes with a little, like, people are going to feel sorry for us now.
I think only if you view that.
If the homophobes knew the best way to fucking have him to be punished would be to say fucking out homophobic to him.
Yeah,
like 'cause they've actually like their whole agenda of being homophobic has actually fucking helped his cause.
I understand what you're saying, but on the other side of that is what you're doing is you're giving people who have never cared about Philip Schofield or shown any interest in any of this stuff allowed suddenly to have these public opinions to be like, well, you know, hey, that's what they're all like.
And often you'll get like a bit of inflated homophobia in society off the back of anything like that. Because like after people have been talking about him and in that vein, then they're gonna have this in their head the next time they see like two guys kissing. So I think also hand him the fucking responsibility for doing that now.
Yeah, I just, man, like, here's a really, really, better's not the word, but when you're numb to everything and you've got faith in nothing anymore, what's the word? Jaded. So
Yeah.
here's a really jaded opinion on the Philip Schofield thing. The reason he vaped is because he wanted to appeal to Gen Z.
100%. It was so fucking transparent.
I've been vaping a lot. Oh, have you also been playing Minecraft, you fucking virgin?
And also just doing the fucking anxiety pretzel. He put himself in the anxiety pretzel and fucking had a vape, and you're like, you just got all these fucking anxious vapors just feeling for you now because
I cannot.
Self in you.
Man, when I used to vape 24 fucking hours a day, I did press when I didn't vape for an hour. It's like, I know this sounds jaded, I know it sounds convoluted, but when people are involved in this industry for so much, you have to understand it's very hard to believe that every single thing isn't calculated, that it isn't all designed by a press team. And this isn't to say what Philip Schofield said isn't true, but it's to say because of the way the entertainment industry, which he's perpetuated, is going on, I now have this thing, I'm like, man, you could be being honest, or you could have the greatest PR team behind you.
Yeah, everyone's media trained.
Like, they cry and they're like, and keep hitting, unwise but
and
not
every
illegal.
Every now and
unwise
again.
not illegal, unwise not illegal, and then vape. Because if you do unwise and not illegal, you'll be in a 30-second TikTok clip. And if we learned anything from the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp fucking trial, it's that 30-second clips defeat the entire 7-week process for the masses.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we've got to pay our respects and acknowledge what a wonderful day that Dave Longley has had.
Oh, it's been so funny. You know, I was talking about, I read that book, Stolen Focus, and I've got loads of fucking methods of staying off my phone, and I'm reading more books, I'm watching films and that.
Mine is...
I optionally chose to spend my day on my phone because I didn't want to miss a word Dave Longley said on Instagram.
We put up, so just to kind of get onto that, I have now, because I'm a weak, pathetic, addicted man, I've taken Instagram off my phone. It's now on yours, and it's now on Cara's. Cara's doing my social media stuff now, because if I have social media on my phone...
So when I post a clip today, I just post it from mine, invite you to collaborate, pop onto yours, hit OK.
Yeah, and for the first time, because I used to be on my phone all the time, and because I used to be fucking obsessed with everything, like, it's just off. I haven't seen... anything. I've missed every time Dave Longley trolls our fans, and I almost forgot that he did it. You asked me yesterday, you were like, hey, we're going to put up a clip, it's where we make fun of the Scouse accent. Do you think that's fine to put up? And I'm like, man, all of our good Scouse fans are not going to give a fucking shit.
They're not going to give a fuck
about this opinion.
It wasn't about the accent. I was like, it was because when I first mentioned about the Scouse accent, I went, it's like you're talking about a 10 out of 10 gorgeous lass, and then she has a Scouse accent. And my thing was just like, and now I'm saying that in the moment as a bit, but putting it out to the wider world, it's objectifying.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
It's like, oh, what, we're still rating women out of 10. The answer is yes, we are. But like...
Scouse women. We're still rating Scouse women out of 10. We're rating London women and Edinburgh women on their degrees and on their knowledge. We're still rating Scouse women on their looks, because until they get anything else, I'm very sorry, that's not my opinion.
I'm going to dig the hole 6 feet deeper and 6 feet wider.
Anyway, so...
You know, and I loved that, because Sensei Call from Have a Word, he reposted it, and the comments were so funny, because they're like, why are these two males thinking they're talking to tens? Like
Also, fair point.
Everyone's responses how months away, and they think the tiny tens is like, ugh. Thanks,
You're like,
man.
oh no, but guys, I'm rich.
I'm still going up the chart.
Yeah, man. When you're working from 2s and 3s, very rarely are you not going up.
I say her as a 10.
I'm gonna finish that. I don't want to turn it into rosé.
Oh, don't do that.
So we released this video today, and then just randomly while we're going through the fucking airport, you're laughing, and when we're backstage, you're fucking laughing, and you're just like, Dave Longley is on one. And my favourite bit was, before I'd even read, because my Instagram is now in Cara's phone,
Yeah.
she's getting everything, like all the fucking comment. Like somebody commented on your post.
Yeah, because I get that now when I've got like my Instagram open, your notifications still come up on the top.
You got to turn them off. Cara was just like, I went in today and she quotes so many things back to me. And look, hey, to the podcast listeners, we know you know, right? The whole Dave Longley bit is he pretends to be a Christian, a very, very Christian,
Hates swearing.
male obstetrician who hates swearing, but is a fan of our comedy and just wants us to do better. And even though he does this under every single post we've ever done, he is the masturbator.
He's a troller.
He's the masturbator. He baits like better than anyone else. Dave Longley is the biggest masturbator I know. He's the king.
Easily.
Aye.
He's got some sick burns.
Like, some of the stuff he was saying, like, while he was attacking us for swearing during this thing, was also able to, you know what, instead of butchering it, let me just quote all of my favorites.
Somebody, like, because he talked about us being misogynistic, and somebody replied saying, you call them misogynistic, but the only clip on your timeline is you asking a woman in the front row to sit on your face. And then he sent us the video of what it was on his thing. And it was a video of him doing crowd work, but he dubbed it over with Roy Chubby Brown.
A Roy Chubby Brown bit from like 1990s.
Play the Roy Chubby Brown bit.
So if I'll read the quote. So Liz McGAA, if you're listening to this for whatever reason, I'm very sorry to announce to you that you got.
Oh, you got.
Your comment was, not sure why you were going nuts against the comments against two people having a convo about accents when you yourself swear and make gross comments yourself, such as the first video you have on your profile about getting some lass to sit on your face and swearing too. Here is the clip.
If you're watching this on
Matthew,
the video, I'll ask Matthew to put the video on. I'll send him it.
Is she alright, that darling? Are you alright, darling? Are you enjoying yourself? You haven't got any old clothes you don't fucking want, have you? No chance of you sitting on my face after the show, is there? I'll guess you wait with me tongue. I'd have to have a fucking strong mouth, I'll tell you that. Strong mouth. Close your legs or borrow a comb and tidy your minge up. It's putting me off. Well, if I don't get fucking beaten up tonight, I never will.
Right, so Dave Longley has put that, and if you watch the video, right, man, it's a bit good. If you are under the age of 25, you will not be conned by the fact that this is very clearly a different video of Dave Longley doing stand-up with a separate audio of him doing things. Like,
but it's not an HD video, so you can't see his mouth move, and he cuts to the audience when they laugh, so it's a nice edit.
Fucking, I'll call him it, Rooney didn't get it. I sent it to Rooney, and Rooney was like, Jesus Christ, and I'm like,
that's not him.
That's
Roy Chubby Brown.
So, people...
That's one of the most racist, misogynistic comedians that fucking still works today.
And well done you for calling him a fucking comedian, right?
I think he is a bit. He was back in his day.
Yeah, but
his time and his delivery, his fucking cadence and all that, right? Like,
okay. So you would argue that his skills are as proficient, but the tools and materials he uses are worse.
Give him progressive material, he'd still be a comic.
Okay.
Do you not think so?
You know what?
He's got stagecraft, man.
Yeah, he does. But it feels awful to admit that. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, aye.
But yeah, he does have stagecraft, and he obviously does have an ability to deal with an audience. But then I would also argue that
this is a horrible thing to say about someone that's so reprehensible. He's got a likability about him to people that couldn't give a fuck about what he's saying.
Aye.
They like him.
Yeah, but to scum.
Aye, but they like him.
No,
But that means if he was saying the right thing, the likability would come into play.
So that was obviously the clip that somebody was referencing when they were calling Dave Longley sexist. Which, don't get me wrong, Dave Longley will tell you to your face that he's sexist. And that's because
You don't know where the joke starts and Dave Longley begins.
no, and that's the joy of Dave fucking Longley. Let me get this. Right, here we go. So, to Saul with 3 O's, hey buddy, I don't think you listen to the podcast, but if you do, I'm really sorry. You got fucking unbelievably got. Your comment was, I've touched a nerve there, big man. Hard stand-up comedian with his one clip of his stand-up, which is the one we just showed you,
just heard.
and 50 clips of his vanity muscles. You didn't even use your own audio in the clip, you melt. So this guy was so close to the joke, but still missed it.
Yeah. So you knew he got dubbed.
He was like, that's not even your own joke. And you're like, man, you're almost there. You're almost at with the fucking gaggers. Need to get yourself back in the gym and out of the comment section of successful comedians, you wet wipe. Dave Longley. How are they more successful than me? I'm a part-time stand-up comedian making money as an obstetrician for Bupa. I've got 6 houses and I can walk down the street unrecognised. Who are you? You're just a guy a landlord will find in a state of undress after they've had to force their way inside. Saul then replies, I didn't say more successful. He goes, I'll not read the whole fucking thing. The important quotes are, it doesn't seem like you're a very successful obstetrician, either saying as you have all this free time to fish for arguments online instead of delivering any of the 2,385 babies born each day in the UK. I would say quit your day job, but it seems anyone would be better at it than Big Davey Dickhead over here.
Davey Dickhead.
To which Dave only replies, I've delivered 3 today, been on the ward since 5 a.m. I'm allowed to go on my phone between women making a fuss and carrying on.
Oh, no. It's so good.
He replies, we'll look at you go, following the example for you to set all by those strong women doing one thing slightly more painful than having a conversation with you. To which Dave Longley goes, strong women, each has an epidural. Pathetic. Like every woman lowering herself to talking to you.
There's 50 odd comments on that thread.
I got to say to the podcast listeners, thank you so much for just letting it happen. We have to just let this go on. Please, for the love of God,
Enjoy it.
We're all watching Dave Longley masturbate. And for the next couple of years, we're going to watch Dave Longley masturbate. Please let him masturbate. He's so good at masturbating. And all 10,000 of us can get really profound enjoy. Don't like it. Don't comment.
Yeah.
These people, they're not podcast fans. They deserve to be slightly bullied.
Will the likes make people think that they're outnumbered a little bit? Like, you know, if they go, oh, there's a bunch of fucking idiots, like this guy's gathering some people, or will they go, it's a joke? Like, will they get it's a joke? Don't like it for any reason.
Either way, I think is successful. I think what Dave Longley is subtly doing is he's making the podcast bigger because he's creating engagement.
Yeah,
which puts her.
They always get more hits. The ones where he's fighting with people. Also, do this. Follow him. Go and click on him and follow him. Yeah. Because then.
Well, no. Don't, he only posts pictures of self weightlifting. Go and see Dave live, and if you want to support him, hand him 50 quid. He doesn't admit anything to the tax man. Just
shoplifts.
Aye, but please,
Does he actually shoplift? He gets on Facebook about shoplifting. He's always saying about what he shoplifted. And like I say, you don't know when the joke starts.
and
Is he shoplifting? I think he is shoplifting.
Of course he fucking is, man.
I think he's shoplifting then talking about it on social media. Such a funny thing to do.
And it's for people that don't get this and don't like it, fucking fair enough. But like, please,
Your mum didn't like him at first?
my mum fucking despised him because he
She
would be
took it
on,
earnestly.
during COVID.
She got.
My mum got. She would be commenting on how Dave Longley. No, what? And we've literally covered this in the podcast.
Have
before.
we done it?
Yes, and very recently talking about how Dave Longley was very openly against a lot of the lockdown measures, and because of the research being done, knowing that the lockdown measures and the masks actually didn't do as much as we thought. At the time, he didn't feel like that was the stance that he was making because everyone was super sensitive. But he always stood by, this disease is real and these measures are stupid.
Uh-huh.
And Dave Longley is thrilled that every single bit of research that's come out since then
Right,
has
aye.
proved him correctly.
Yeah.
So the bit I want to go to. So we stick that video up online, making fun of the Scouse. Now, I like and dislike making fun of the Scouse because I very openly despise the Liverpool football team from top to bottom. I hate all.
I hate Everton more.
Really?
I think they see us as a rival club and they haven't really liked us having any success. Like they've been Mackems about our success.
So the entitlement of Liverpool fans doesn't scratch the fucking skin off your body.
You know what as well?
Like as if they've got a God-given right as people who couldn't read the Bible.
I've chatted to loads of people from like Liverpool and Everton fans in real life, and I've had like intelligent. They know a lot about football, right? You can have intelligent conversations with them. The social media output.
To be fair,
You cannot judge people on their social media.
Sorry, I've never had a bad time with a Liverpool fan, or
If it wasn't for social media, I'd have no beef with Liverpool and Everton. I feel like, you know how the loudest of people are the ones that are heard the most?
Aye.
Like, I feel like, you know how you can like a comedian in real life and you can have like fun in their company and you can enjoy their set, but you see their social media output and you start building this fucking picture of them in your head as being fucking...
Yes.
Right? Like, if you didn't have social media, you wouldn't have been influenced on your opinion of that person.
Yeah,
right? I feel like as football fans, it's that.
Yeah, because every single experience I've ever had being in Liverpool physically myself, and not even just as a comedian, as a
really
tourist.
fucking level.
Yeah, it's been the
Balanced
best.
conversation.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Like I spoke to a lot of Everton fans on the day of the last game of the season when the mate got relegated. And they were just fucking nice, honest, decent people. And I was chatting to them and I started like in that moment rooting for them to stay up because I was around, humanised, you know. And then you see stuff on social media and you can. But that's what I'll see of each other.
Yeah, and also, there's definitely part of me that was just angry that Liverpool were doing better than Chelsea. So I have to acknowledge the fact that I was.
What was that excellent fake documentary, American Vandal?
Yes, yeah.
That one was like, this is the first generation that has the personality, and then they have the personality that they curate on social media.
Aye, and a lot of the time. Well, I feel like Arsenal suffer the same thing because they're online fans and they're actual fans, and anyone that owns an Arsenal shirt or anyone that says I support Arsenal is a cunt. Like it's just one of those. Anyway, the point is, so we do this thing where we're making fun of Liverpool people. Obviously, it's not taken out of context because we chose the context that it went out in, but because we're trying to fucking create engagement, we create engagement. And Adam Rowe, who I love so dearly as a comedian, as a friend, as a fucking... And also as someone in the podcasting world I look up to for what he's been able to do.
As a gangster.
Yeah. Adam Rowe replied to us both being like, do you want to fight? And you and me both went, Yeah, man.
Cute.
Yeah.
I play the Perry. I replied, going, all right, but when we have makeup sex, you better zip it.
I can't believe he survived to makeup sex.
No, he didn't. That's why he's quiet.
Fucking the gall of a man who was not able to beat up a fat 23-year-old Elliot Steele.
He's actually quite hard now.
Who?
Elliot.
Oh, Elliot now, yeah.
He could fight now. I just couldn't get beat off him with a principle.
Oh, yeah.
I would want it more if I fought Elliot Steele, and that's what would get him.
We want to talk about the Marlena thing. I don't think we should do this on this podcast, but now that we've done so many things that we just shouldn't have said on this podcast because it's a public episode, I feel like, fuck it. Any awful opinions I'm worried about, let's stick them out there. Did you see?
I was going to say, now we've clickbaited them, and they're going to be listening on. It's time for an infomercial. Altitude, I've just thought of it, right? We're meant to do it on the intro as well. We're giving them a promo code for Altitude.
Oh,
they're getting a discount.
Are they?
Muggins and Cream listeners are getting a discount for Altitude.
Who have you confirmed this with?
I just made it up now. I'm just telling them now.
I don't think you can.
Hey, Mary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I Mary messages with a discount code for our listeners as a perk.
Oh, okay.
Do you not know about this?
No.
Oh, mate, I put it in the intro as well, just for people that are doing half-hour drives, but fucking these lot are getting a discount. So tell them about Altitude, I'll get me phone.
Okay, so assuming you've heard us talk about Altitude Comedy Festival, it takes place every year, and I think March.
First week of April.
First week of April, so I'm full of shit already.
Dara O'Brien's on.
Yeah. Dara O'Brien. I don't think that's how the list goes. I don't think
Paul Smith.
Oh, Paul Smith's going.
Huh?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, the lineup's sick.
So Altitude Comedy Festival takes place in Meyerhofen every year. You get to spend 5 days skiing on one of the most beautiful resorts in Europe. And then every day once you finish skiing, there are 3 shows afterwards. There's an après-ski, there is a gala show, and then there's a late night show. You can go to any of them, you can go to none of them. You can do whatever you want to do. The lineups are brilliant every year. I haven't been able to do it for 6 or 7 years. This next year will be my first return to Altitude, and I cannot fucking wait. I'll be back.
First time in about 7 years for you.
Yeah, 7 years.
We both had last year off because...
Dara O'Brien, Mark Nelson, Gareth Wall.
Yeah, do you want the line out?
Oh, here we go. Kai Humphries, Daniel Sloss. You put yourself at the top.
I put myself at the top. That's the poster.
Aye, sure. Andrew Maxwell, Marcus Brigstock, Maisie Adam, Emmanuel Sonobi, Barry Murphy, Mark Nelson, Nina Gilligan, Kate Williams, Tamer Katan, Jack Lidow, the International Improv All-Stars, and there will be more announced. So what's the promo code?
I'm going to tell you now. Muggins and Cream 24, all one word, block capitals. I'm going to post it shortly after I post this. I'll post the info so that you'll probably already know about it by the time. Actually, I'll let it settle a bit. Let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy finding out like this. I'll put the fucking poster on.
Maybe no. Like we could next podcast we'll do it at the intro. Like this can be a gift for those that stayed through.
So early access on the promo code.
Aye, just in case, just to see, because I can't wait to see what effect we have when 7 of you buy it. Thank you, Sid.
Sid's already got a ticket. He's just been like, "What? I could have had fucking 10% off."
So I know what I want to talk about next. Why did we go on to...
I just, you clickbaited them. You were about to say something that they wanted to hear, and I was like, hit them with a promo. Which is a fucking belter promo. You won.
Okay.
Like, hit us with it.
We were... Oh, no. I remember what it is. Before I get into the Marlena thing. Did you watch the video?
Probably.
Of the... person getting eaten by a shark?
Yes, of course I did.
Okay.
Like,
and
I was like, part of us was like, oh, this is horrible. Like, it's out. It's not like, you know, when you get sent a beheading video or something like that. which hasn't happened in many, many years, but that was
no. The thing I will fucking say is there are videos of Russian troops cutting the cocks off of Australian
Well, I think
prisoners
I
of
must have
war.
changed my friendship circle because I'm not. I haven't
You've
seen
changed your fucking
that for a while.
algorithm. Like that sort of stuff is still happening
It was
out
too far
there.
in the distance, and it was just like kind of like seeing the fin and seeing his head go underwater and seeing the thing go red. It wasn't like graphic, like a hostile movie. Or
Oh no, but it was a body moving.
But like
and,
you could have, he was fucking resilient, man. His head kept coming back up, and he shouted. I'm sure you could hear him shouting, unless it was someone on the beach.
do you know
shouting
the woman?
help.
Do you know, like 55 seconds into this video, where a man is just eaten by a shark, there's this Russian woman being like, "Oh no, what is this?" And I'm like,
What could it
"Doll, could you get in the ocean, please?"
be? What could it be? Can't get him.
So here is not my opinion, but as we said earlier on, you know when.
But if only it was a Spanish person. You're not going to say that.
So close. So close. Russian?
It was Russian, wasn't it?
It was a Russian guy.
Oh no, you don't do this. We've met so many cool Russian people.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying when I say when I felt so guilty about.
Oh,
not my first response.
they've been dehumanised for you?
Yeah, they have. A little bit. Like, and also not the tourists. Like, also not the ones.
But the ones that we hung out with after the gig, the ones that come to your gig, were translator,
Aye.
were promoter.
Aye.
Could have been one of them.
Could have been. Or it could have been one of the 80% that support the war.
Aye, but where are they? Are they on holiday?
They're at home. That's
gonna say,
where you're correct. That's where you're correct. Absolutely. That's where I'm
I didn't think they were going for a swim in fucking, where were they?
But maybe they
Egypt. It was Egypt, wasn't it?
I remember fucking like.
Maybe diplomats trying to get Egypt on
Because
board.
what they were explaining to us here in Bulgaria is a lot of Bulgaria supports the Russian war in Ukraine. And the reason they support the Russian war in the Ukraine is because not only do they get a lot of the propaganda from the Kremlin, because a lot of their people who live in Bulgaria have relatives that still live in Russia, and because Russia are dealing with the same amount of propaganda that every American dealt with for the past 5 years, and you still don't know you're going through because you're all thick as pig shit. Like, they
I disagree with that. Aye.
watch Trump win again, and easily. These Bulgarians, they last remember historically the Russians. Bulgaria was under the Ottoman Empire for 500 fucking years, and they were super poverty. So their heroes historically are the Russians. In the same way that if you're in Europe, the heroes are if you're in America, the heroes of World War II is America, because they did the atom bombs and they did D-Day. If you're in Britain, you're taught that the heroes of World War II are the Brits, because we did fucking D-Day. And in France, I'm sure, everywhere.
So we think we're the heroes because we landed on the beach. America, I think they're the heroes because they turned up and won off the bench to score the winner.
Aye, yes. So everyone's got like, but whereas deep down, like one of the biggest parts of the reason we won World War II was because Hitler decided to go on the offensive across all of Russia during winter, and the Russians' ability to just die to a man, despite being not skilled at anything, not being proficient at anything,
the Russian
not
winter.
being prepared for anything. All they could do was stand there and die, but there was just so many of them. They did that. Like, the Russians, in my personal opinion, are a huge reason why the Allies won World War II. And that's why I've always had a soft spot for the Russians. Right. And because we got to gig there, and because we got to meet the good fucking Russians, like I do fucking get that. But then also with what's going on. So Bulgarians, because their history, they weren't really heavily involved in World War II because they weren't a fucking country then. So they didn't exist.
You know,
their last memory of war is what they got out of 500 years rule of the Ottoman Empire, because the Russians defeated the Turks. So in their head, it's old people's memory.
but that's like historic. So when I was talking to Ivan about this, I was like, you can't, this is from Russia's point of view, you can't save someone from an abusive relationship and then hit them.
Right. But what if you hit,
it doesn't level out. It doesn't go, all right, 1-1, crack on. Like,
but what if you hit them less?
You still move on. Again, you've changed, Russia. You even hang on to it, Gan. Oh, thanks for earlier. But
I take your point. I was just being I was literally just being a cunt there.
yeah, but it was that, like, that is what's happening though. Like the analogy, like the people who are like hanging on to Russia as a savior, even though.
But it's so we had this discussion last night. The thing I'm trying to. We hate the pensioners of our country in every country because they're so much more susceptible to the Murdoch media,
Any right-wing
to
media.
whatever right-wing media. Because older people are stupider because they don't have the knowledge. They don't learn as fast as technology
They
does.
don't travel as much as
And
the
they don't
youngins.
travel.
And travel's huge for like
Anyone over
intellect.
50 is thick as pig shit bar none. Is not our point. But so you've got this generation of people that just do not put any fucking effort into growing and
That's why I love meeting like well-read, well-travelled old people because they're more like us.
I
You
it's
know?
very arrogant of you to think.
Yeah, I think they are. You know, when you're like
I'm
hanging
as
out with
smart as a well-travelled Jew.
you know, like Andy and Julie Askins.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? They've they've seen the world. They've fucking like that. They're not right wing, angry, close the borders. Like when you meet older people who have fucking done shit, instead of just being in the same spot, picking up the same newspaper,
Yeah.
going at the same staff room with the same minds.
Aye,
Like
just regurgitating the
insular opinion, and you reach the age of 65 and it's just been solidified like a diamond.
And not even just that. Not even just the fact that they're insular. There, you have a propaganda machine in the form of Murdoch's media, which is designed by scientists.
Yeah.
And
And they get it right in every country.
And they get it right everywhere
Fox
they
News,
go.
Sky News in Australia, Sky News in the UK. They get the subtlety of it right. They know your flavour.
They know exactly how to make you hate your fucking neighbour, because if you don't hate your neighbour, you become very aware of what they're doing. So I'm trying to have more compassion for the older generation, like my grandparents' generation, who read the Daily Mail and think it's gospel because they're stupid.
Stop listening to Piers Morgan.
Yeah, stop.
Turn off Sky News
reading
in the background.
Stop reading the government printed
Get it right.
lies.
Chat to
and
people.
Talk to people.
Get into Bulgaria and chat to Bulgarians. Like,
the other iteration of that, which I think you are ignorant of, and I am also ignorant of, is the reason Andrew Tate is popular is we do not understand how powerful TikTok is because we're not on TikTok.
Yeah.
The number one influencer in the fucking world in 2022, the most influential between children the age of 13 to 17 was Andrew Tate. Right?
gotta be Kim Kardashian with him second. Or like Jenner or whatever. Whoever.
No, it would have been fucking Bieber. It would have been fucking. But
But he's now.
He's above, and the reason is because Andrew Tate in a 10-minute conversation, 20-minute conversation,
Bullshits with confidence.
30-minute. No. Anything above 10 minutes, he would be destroyed. Tom Segura, I love your comedy. I think you are a fucking piece of shit for ever having Andrew Tate on your podcast. I think it was irresponsible. I think it was ignorant, and I think it was a pathetic way to get more
followers.
money for you. And I love your comedy, but that was disgusting. It was you knew what he was. You can pretend
He had his praise.
You pretended that you know it's about. It wasn't that. You knew what he fucking was. Andrew Tate is found out after 10 minutes of how dumb he. Man, he's autistic. He's a very autistic person. Listen to him talk for more than 10 minutes. He's autistic because he was violently abused by his dad, and she was justified by his mother, who was violently abused by his fucking dad. Listen to anything he fucking does. He is a really damaged autistic person.
Does that mean we should have a little bit of empathy for him in that? This guy needs diagnosed, he needs help, he needs treatment.
No, because
not treatment,
no.
But like
damaged people have to fucking have at least 1% of wanting to help themselves. If anyone has read the book Shuggy Bane, you will know that the last chapter, when the main problem disappears, it was a great day. There is a responsibility in the person to become better. But what TikTok does is Andrew Tate sounds logical in under 30 seconds, in the same way that Jordan Peterson sounds really smart if you only listen to Jordan Peterson for 5 minutes, right? If you listen to Jordan Peterson, if you watch any of the shit Jordan Peterson's doing in his own TV show now, which I have done, it is hysterically funny. It is a scared white man yelling at black shadows on a wall, right? That's
Yeah, he's backed himself so into a corner.
So Andrew Tate is really smart if you can edit down a clip with no context and 30 seconds of him owning a fucking journalist, owning a fucking lip. But that's what TikTok is. So we can...
but if you let that conversation play out...
Man, we can complain about this older generation above us that are voting because the Murdoch media is making them vote for the Tories and making them vote for the fucking Republicans. But we now have to fucking be aware that beneath us, and also in our generation, there's a generation that in the thing that they look at for 14 hours a day, an algorithm not designed by any government, not designed by an AI that just goes...
that is trying to keep you on your phone longer.
Just trying to keep you... It will, and it's not doing it evilly. It's worse. It's unconscious. It's what keeps our attention. This AI is deciding, you're paying attention to this because it's awful. So I'm going to show you more things because it's awful. And I'm
awful.
Designed to keep your attention.
More angry.
And these teenagers who are we spoke about in the last podcast about the reason why fucking Leonardo DiCaprio is an awful man for fucking teenagers. There's this, the most important time in the development of your fucking brain is in your teenage years. And we give kids this phone, which beams because it's taught to give them fucking Andrew Tate.
What you've got to hope is that generation grow up, identify the problem, hate us for handing them a phone. Not us, but our generation.
They're allowed to hate me.
What?
I truly believe if I get to 85 and people below 40 hate me and they're like, you're scum, you're the reason the world is the way it is, I'll just have to be like, yeah, man, I went on no marches.
Yeah, in the same way that the generation above, like, fucking put pollution in the air, dug up a load of natural resources, fucking and bought houses at a cheap price and sold them at a fucking high price. Back there, and you can look up to them going, you fucking bastards. You didn't borrow the world from me. You fucking harvested it and give us the barren land. You cunt, right? Right. The generation...
You robbed me of the experience. So sorry.
The generation below us are going to be looking at us and going, you put that screen in me face that was advertising to us at the age of 12.
You gave artificial intelligence that you had no idea
all the
what
data of how I respond, what gives us serotonin, like what makes us happy, and you just let it pitch at us. Does that mean the next generation is going to go, fuck off the phone?
No, man. This generation of kids, like the only things I've been reading recently is this generation of kids is the most depressed generation of... Well, I mean, they say most depressed. I'm like... I don't think they were recording the thoughts of Jewish children.
You know, the Great Depression. The Great Depression. I wonder why they called it that.
Like there's like it's like there weren't really mental health therapists in Auschwitz being like, I tell you what, a lot of these kids are sad.
But fast forward to the future, there's a kid that hasn't had a vape.
Yeah, I tell you what, in Auschwitz, none of the kids are sad because there's none.
Yeah,
because there's no use for children.
Anyone want to buy some shoes? I think we're going to wrap this up now. We've got to go and pack up and get home to our families.
The fucking Jew shoe joke.
That's me big closer. Muggins and Cream 24, altitude 2024. Oh, that's why I said 24.
Right, if that's where you want to end then.
That's how they said 24. I thought it was like Muggins and Cream 24, never switch off. 24/7.
I just think it's a really horrible way to end a podcast.
All right, let's talk about No. A little bonus 5-10 minutes of talking about why Marlena gives the rider.
So we found out to...
It was like when she's nice in a rider and gives her like stuff that would turn up and have.
Here is a small story about how Marlena's rider system works. Before we turn up anywhere, she will send through a food rider, what we want backstage, drinks, and then a technical rider. And technical rider will say things like, we want a red spot on the mic, which means a red light firing down.
It looks atmospheric.
We want red gels on the back, and what red gels means is there's 6 lights at the back of the car.
So for something like this, right, the show's about to start. House lights drop, Stage lights drop, red spot goes on the mic. There's just a red spot on the mic. It's atmospheric. Off stage mic goes live, and Daniel starts talking. We would never have thought of that.
No, we
Right?
would have just gone
Give
lights
a fuck.
down.
But it is good.
Yeah.
It's really fucking good, and we
then
need Marlena to have the devil in the detail.
And then I would walk on stage and lights would come up. The red lights at the back would change to white, or they would go
Magenta,
to
I
make sure
think
the
it is,
focus-
isn't it?
Yeah,
Magenta's our
magenta. The red spot would change to obviously to follow spots for me to make people focus on me. We don't have any expertise on this. Marlena is meticulous, so we try to meet somewhere half in the middle. But what happens is we go to places and they're like, hey, we don't have the red gels for the back of the gig. Do you think this gig could go ahead? We're like, man, I don't even know what you just said.
Aye.
Like, if the microphone works, who gives
like,
a shit?
They're just like, do you like the thing? And we're like, aye, sure.
Yeah, right,
I
grand.
was like, oh, we don't care. He was like, oh, I hope you care because they
Yeah,
had to
we-
hire this equipment in to do that. And you were like, oh, no. Like, we don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
Marlena
the whole operation, this is necessary. Otherwise, it's just fucking ramshackle, right? So we need like a team behind it. When I say a team, it's Marlena.
To make this look
That's
more
the team.
professional than we would ever make it look.
Yeah.
We get to Croatia, we're in Rijeka. We walk out on stage for the sound check, and on the mic is, you know, the wind guards that you see news agents have just when they're performing in public. It's like this bigger foam thing that goes
News
around
agents.
the mic.
news broadcasters,
News
journalists,
broadcasters, sorry.
not the shops. I was thinking of, you know, the wind thing that the news agents have. I was thinking of them spiral things that spin round where it catches the wind and the advertisement.
Sorry, newscasters and news reporters is exactly.
Yeah, it's called a pop shield, I think, and it's, you know, when you like pick a pipe, I pick the pickle pipe out, it stops the crackle in the mic.
So we walk out on stage in Rijeka, and there's this massive red windbreak on this thing. And then every time we hold it up to our mouth, it looks like we're a clown because there's this red thing in front of our mouth. And we say to the people, let's get rid of this.
I'd rather my voice was popping.
Yeah.
I'd rather my
And they
voice
were
was
like,
popping than me wear this.
You asked for it. And we were like, we didn't ask for it. And then they showed us in the rider, it said, red spots on
Spotlight.
the mic.
Shorthand for spotlight.
So in their Croatian translation, in their third language,
Red
that's
spot?
what it fucking meant.
We didn't realise what should also put on.
And we didn't find out till we were drinking. We've been to Bulgaria. This is our third time here. We've been with Van and the comedy club people every single time. He told us tonight that there is something in our rider where Marlena says, at midnight, you have to give the boys the option to go home because they will never go home themselves.
They'll just stay out. They're very polite.
They're very polite. They'll stay out forever, but it's important.
Which is really nice, actually, because... No, hold on. I'm just thinking about the times where I've had someone like fucking Guy Stevens or something like that, right?
okay, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
if they'd give us
the worst.
if they'd give us an opportunity to get out, it would be like fucking bang, relief.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
okay, yeah.
But the majority of the time, we're staying out because we want to stay out. In fact, you know what? I don't think I'm giving myself enough credit. I'd fucking absolutely eject myself from a situation I didn't want to be in.
Yeah, of course you would. But
I'm absolutely gone. Right, anyway, early flight tomorrow. There's no argument with it. Like, I'd get myself out of there.
no, yes, if you were super uncomfortable and you weren't enjoying it, but you will admit, and this is where Marlena is right, which is horrible to admit, there would be points when if we stayed out with someone till 12, that before then, if we didn't like them, we'd leave. But if we stay with someone till 12, we won't leave them till 5 unless they tell us to fucking leave. Like, it's like if somebody keeps us out till 12, we would never make the suggestion to go home.
If we're enjoying ourselves.
Of course.
So it's like, you know what she's doing? It's like, get him to the Greek. It's like fucking, these have got an early flight
Are you
tomorrow.
calling me a massive rapist?
Yep. Sarah Marshall. It's a completely different film.
No, but you did narrow down because we could have just pretended that Jonah Hill was the rapist.
Yeah. I get him a cleaner scope. I can clean that.
Jonah Hill is a lovely man and was not the most evil thing in the movie. Get him to the creek.
P. Diddy in that.
Is he in it?
I don't know. I think so. I'm not sure actually. It was the other one.
Well, to be fair, I can't imagine how many people were silenced in that movie.
The point being is that Bedtime's in the writer.
And Marlena, I know you're listening to this, and I know you get very, very upset when we misrepresent you in this podcast, which is fair. Which is fair. I would say we do always, when we talk about Marlena, we hold her under the scrutiny and the scope of a comedian.
No, what we do is we get on the fucking pier and we do a caricature of her. Yeah. Which is exactly what she looks like.
Marlena, I fucking love you, but I gotta fucking tell you right now, 'cause I cannot fucking believe you put a bedtime in a rider. Do you understand?
A bedtime option. An option for a bedtime.
Man,
a get out clause.
Everyone knows the story of Guns N' Roses' Rider, and Guns N' Roses' Rider was there has to be only blue M&Ms in the bowl on the table. And the reason that was the case was because they're technical rider for all the pyrotechnics, for all the lights, for all the sound, for all the mics, for everything needed to do their performance. What they would do is on the food rider, they would put something really specific like only blue M&Ms. And what happened was when they walked into the green room, if they saw only blue M&Ms on the table, they knew everything else was perfect.
All the settings, all the lights, the red spot.
Because these people had paid attention to the rider. It's not an arrogant thing. It's not a diva thing. It's a
just
really quick, smart way. And Marlena does do that. So Guns N' Roses have a blue M&M rider being like, don't you fuck... We had a bedtime rider.
We had a bedtime rider, Daniel. And,
a bedtime... How long have we had a bedtime rider?
Was that just because we had an early flight? Is that on all of the riders? Is that a copy and paste job? How many times have we... Because I've stayed out late most of tour. How many times have I rode over the bedtime rider? If like, do you guys want to get back to the hotel? And I'm like, fuck no.
And they're like, what do we do?
The
Geordie's out of control. We can get the Scottish one into bread.
Right, but he's buying Coke. And he's just read 2 lines, and the Scottish one's staying out as well. Looks like we're both staying out. How long have we had the bedtime rider?
How long have we had the bedtime rider? Marlena, how long have we had the bedtime rider? You fucking bitch.
Mate, we still get gluten stuff. The amount of gluten-free stuff that we've left.
No. Look, as much as I do enjoy besmirching the good name of Marlena.
There was gluten stuff the other day, so it might have been from an old rider.
Was there?
Mate, I think you're just blind to them. We turn up, there's loads of stuff, and I think you just go like Terminator, like fucking checking out the size of people's jackets and shoes, right? You going, crisps, M&Ms, right? There's a whiskey, boop, right? You fucking haven't got a Scooby when else is on the table. Man, I'll peruse the options, maybe like, again, gluten-free biscotti. You're so bad at spotting stuff that isn't just on the selective things that you've chose to see in the world. Like, you know how...
Hey, I agree with you, but that's why it's so easy. Man, cheating's it's never been an option. I'm like, Cara's the one, that's my favourite thing, nothing else matters. That's, once I know what I like, I don't differentiate.
The amount of women you've farted on a couple of lasses.
Can we not talk? Can we save that for the Patreon?
all right. Tune in on Thursday. Yeah, with him farting on a couple of lasses.
I genuinely, I cringed for like an hour.
Did you? Because you seemed remorseless at the time.
I had to.
You styled that shit out. Mate, there was other people.
I don't want to talk about it, man.
Those other people saw what you did.
I really, we've done an hour and 10. I don't want to fucking talk about it. I'm not in the mood. It's something I cringe over in the shower.
I would never have guessed that. And I've known you for a while. I thought you were...
I don't want to fucking talk about it.
Later on, you fought in the lift with me.
Look,
You're doubling down.
Our next gigs are in Canada. We've got several weeks off. The podcast.
I've got Matty Stag doing Southampton. Nobody else is coming. It's just me and Matty in Southampton.
When's that?
The week after next. Sometime, I don't know. I tell him a time. I still got to book it yet.
You're doing his stag do in Southampton.
Aye. He got his Matt Letizia to fucking ask us to marry him. Whatever. He done the cameo from Matt Letizia. And I listens to this as well.
I also, now that I know that Matty listens to this, I want you to know that Kai took me to Vegas. And he's taking you to Southampton.
Aye, yeah. Know your role.
Aye. And also, sorry, I won't be on your stag do because I've got
Southamptonophobia.
No, I'm on a family.
I'm in Brighton. I can't make it. I'm just chilling in Brighton.
We're on a family holiday. We're doing our first holiday, which is just me.
That's it. It's my first family holiday. Just me. Got a Tenerife.
Hey, I'm really sorry for this episode. Thank you for listening.
What we're talking about before we talked about you farting on lasses. I was about to say about how fucking blind you are to stuff in the world. You were talking about how you're blind to women existing, and I was like, I could see that the day when you fart on people. So I'd lost my jacket, and you know when I lose stuff, I make a scene. You never get involved. You're just like, all right, you've lost a thing. Yeah,
it's not just, and this isn't even in defense of me. This is, I'm going to stand up for Natalie here. It's not that when you lose something, you make it everyone else's problem. Whenever anything happens to you, you make it everyone else's problem. You are the only person I know who will walk into a room of other people who are fed and go, I'm hungry. And everyone goes, okay.
Yeah, get this guy fed. Oh yeah, team effort, community, sense of community. So I say this is a man who helped you look for your wedding certificate on your wedding day,
and my wedding ring on my fucking wedding day. Yeah.
So man, I've been there for you. Right, I lost my jacket. It had my retainers in the pocket. So
I showed you sympathy, man.
Oh, you did. Right.
I put real effort.
But Danny, this is what I'm saying. This isn't about you being mean-spirited. This is about you having blindness to stuff that isn't even interesting. We're getting into the taxi to the next destination, and it just so happens to be the same taxi that picked me up from the airport in Romania that was taken across the border to Bulgaria. It just so happened to be the same guy. We didn't know that when we got in it. No. That was just a taxi to us. And if I left me coat in the taxi, bye, gone forever. Right? We didn't have a fucking number for the random taxi that took me there. So this taxi arrives, same fucking dude, right? And you get in the back, I get in the middle, Alex gets in the front. And I just fucking I don't know why I looked in the back. But I was like, my fucking jacket's underneath your hoodie. And I'm like, is that my fucking jacket?
Is that the jacket I wiped my arse with when I shot in the back of the car?
I think it was. Mate, you got in the back. You got in the back with the elusive jacket that you knew I'd lost, and just popped your hoodie on it. You got into not an empty back seat, a back seat with the jacket that you've seen me wear since last summer. I bought it last summer. Right? And now my retainers are in there. You just took your hoodie on it, and I'm like underneath your hoodie. I'm like, in Vegas, I put in the WhatsApp group, I've lost my credit card, British Airways credit card, right? And my Coke. I'm going to take a punt that they're in the same place. I put that in the WhatsApp group, right?
I remember.
A few people
I remember getting that text on my phone when I was using your credit card.
Okay. I froze it. Right? I borrowed everyone else's Coke. I got into your room and he went, do you want a line? Is you fucking cut my Coke with my credit card? And I'm like, you know I'm looking for that.
Off my phone with a text of you asking for it.
With 2 blue ticks. You've got a blindness for stuff that doesn't affect you.
I will. Aye. And that's
Gluten-free biscuit.
and that's why I was thrilled that a shark ate some Russian cunt.
Okay. Anyone want to buy some shoes?
See you next time. Sorry.